Welcome to another episode of Velocity Chaos!
Coming to you at the speed of sound, we are on the air at the Hexapod Soundhouse in Cleveland, Ohio. My name is Nick, and you are here at the Velocity Chaos podcast. I will be hosting today with the hostess with the mostest, Luke.
That's me. That was very letting downish. I don't know what I was let down by that. But you know what? I will bring you up with our tried, true, trusty DJ runner-up.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me out this week.
Oh, of course. It's fantastic to have you here behind the board, hitting the buttons. Nick, what do we got going on today?
Well, Luke, I'm sorry to let you down. Maybe a little pick-me-up with this itinerary for today's show. We are going to do a How Does It Do That? We are going to have a Master Debaters section where we are going to get into it about painting. We're going to do Conspiracy Theory Deep Dive. And then finally, we're going to do Based on a True Story, where we pitch a movie based on a true headline off the top of our heads. Looking forward to that later in the show. So thanks so much for being here, everyone, for the 66th episode of the Velocity Chaos podcast. Just a reminder for our returning listeners and a note for our new friends. Here at the Velocity Chaos podcast, we explore the highest heights of human knowledge and the lowest depths of crude humor. Our mission is to tickle that pink thing between your ears, poke that frontal lobe, or sometimes just smash the laugh box. So hop in and buckle up for an infotainment ride across the airwaves.
But before we get into all of that, just a reminder to follow us on Instagram at Velocity Chaos Pod and on Facebook, YouTube. Why not? Give us a subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified every time. 5 a.m. Mondays, Thursdays. It's ready there for you right when you wake up and you're ready to go, whether you're working out or you're vegging out or whether you're just trying to get away for a while. Check out Velocity Chaos Podcast on your podcast platform of choice, because we thank you guys, all of you who do and all of you who will do it, who are now listening to this 3 years in the future. Thank you guys all for your support.
Okay, before we get into everything, we like to do a little exercise called Make the Connection. It's a warm-up game, just gets us cooking. Essentially, DJ Runner-Up is going to give us 2 words, and we're just going to do word association to connect the 2. Feel free to join in, listeners out there, viewers out there. Shout out the words, act like a crazy person in your car, at work, whatever floats your boat. But we love participation, even though we don't know it exists out there. Anyway, make the connection before we get into it. Let's get a warm-up in here. DJ, what do you got?
Let's get these muscles firing, guys. Let's make the connection between Vikings and Luaus.
Vikings and Luaus. I'll launch into it. Vikings.
Boats.
Jet skis.
Water.
Drinks.
Vodka.
Drunk.
Party.
Hats.
Baseball.
Bats.
Vampires.
Cats.
Witches.
Dorothy's.
Little Debbie's.
Snacks.
Fruits.
Pineapple.
Hawaii.
Beaches.
Luaus.
Oh, man.
That was a wild ride there.
We gotta make it fun. I mean, last week we connected it in 2. It's not.
That's world record.
World record. Gotta get Guinness in here. Both Guinnesses, the record holder and the beer guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know what would be a cool idea to get a tattoo out of luau, and that's what we're going to talk about next. Is not luaus but tattoos.
Sick tribal tats.
Sick tribal tats, man. Look at my tribal tat. Anyway, we're going to talk about how does it do that? How do tattoos do that? How do they display their incredible shapes, their incredible inks, their incredible shadings? How do they do that? That is our today's subject for this segment, where we do a deep dive into the mechanics of how this stuff works. I don't have a tattoo. You don't have a tattoo, DJ? Maybe. Okay.
Not your business.
See,
Yep.
none of your business.
Episode 50.
You got that tattoo,
Yeah,
right?
Lower back.
Way lower down back. So I'm really just going to talk about like the modern art of tattoos. Like I'm not going to go through the history and all that crap.
Yeah.
'Cause who cares?
Stuff in the clink that you get.
So essentially, again, this segment really just focuses on literally how does it do that. We try to keep it legit. So I found out, I always thought it was a single needle, but really like the single needle stuff, it's so small, like it would take forever to actually, especially the fill in and the solid parts of tattoos. It would take forever if you just had a single tattoo. So there's like a pointed cluster where it's like 5 needles that come to a point. And that helps with like lining and more definition. There is like a very small, I think like 3.1
That's for beginners.
that's for the babies.
You start with 1, then you go to
he's
3,
the-
and then
you go-
when you're legit, you go to 5.
You go to 20. It's just like
7 's
huge,
pretty
just like just right in. Yeah. It's just like you have to. The artist has to use 2 hands to hold it. It's just,
Look at the definition, though.
it's just like it points it at your back and it's just like shunk.
It's like a big secretary stamp. They just
You leave, you just have like a dice like a pattern on your
Oh,
back.
look at that. That wasn't so bad.
You just like a 1/4-inch hole in your fucking back. Okay, so anyway, pointed clusters.
I just put some cream on there.
Yeah. Just can you wrap that in saran wrap, please? So there's the pointed ones, which help with like detailing, apparently, and then there's like flat ones, which help with shading, and those can be like up to like 8 needles across. Like it's just like flat, and it's
like a brush.
So I didn't know that. That was the first thing I learned.
Yeah.
How does the needle plant the ink was the other question that I was asking. So modern tattoo machines. This was, again, very interesting to me. There was like an older rotary model, which essentially has like a flywheel on the back of it. So when the electricity flows through it, there's a little wheel that spins. And the YouTube people are going to have a lot more easier time understanding this, I think, because they can see my
Look at the
pen.
tip.
So as the wheel rotates around, the end of the needle that's attached to it is pulled in and out because the edge of the wheel is turning and pulling it farther away and closer. So that force is what makes the needle go in and out. So
did it used to be like a Singer needle machine?
Sewing machine.
Sewing machine. That's the
sewing
one.
machine.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like a piston.
They just like
And they got it, and then and they're just moving the person's arm.
they're just like on a floating thing that's just like on casters or some sort of ball bearings. They're just
push it with their foot and stuff.
Oh, Regina, you forgot to take the thread out.
some embroidery all over your back. Well, at least now we know what the tattoo will look like.
Yeah.
This was based on a Thomas Edison engraving device, actually.
Of course it was.
Yeah, of course it was. And so it
Who
was
did he steal that from?
the Maori people, probably. So the first patent for this rotary tattoo device was like early 1900s in New York, and it was kind of ripped from Thomas Edison. It's amazing the watershed that he was. We should probably do a segment on him at some point of just like how many things he invented that just kind of went out. Well, he stole from everybody, and then other people stole from him, and that kind of gave us all these new designs, which was cool. Anyway, the more contemporary version of the tattoo machine is a coil. It's called a coil tattoo machine, and essentially there's 2 magnets. Like this device is so small, it's nice, it's compact, and so there's the handle, and then where the needles are, and it's like a pen, and then on the back of it there's these two coils that are electromagnets, right?
Like a miniature top thrill dragster that just shoots the ink.
It's just like air. Just no. Really, this is such a clever little design if you look at it. The bar on the back is what's attached to the piston that goes down to the needle. So when the electromagnets are activated by electricity that the machine is plugged into, it pulls the lever down, which pushes the needle forward, right? But there's a piece of metal on the lever that's attached to the electrics of the machine. And so when it's pulled, it breaks the current. So then the electromagnets shut off, thereby releasing the lever, and then it's just a cycle. But that's why you get it so fast.
How does it know how to do that?
Is there a microchip involved? What is going on?
Little gremlins.
No, it's just a really
That's crazy.
practical but simple little device that is so effective at doing this thing. So this was also a patent, early 1900s, stolen from a Thomas Edison device. This was an electric pen. And I'm like, what is an electric pen?
Yeah.
Essentially, it was like back in the day with inkwells and the ball, not the ballpoint, the was it quill tip?
Yeah, quill and
like
ink.
pretty much the ink tip. I think is that it?
Yeah.
Tip pen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Where you have to dip it in, or you
Yeah.
have to load it up, and when you push it, it separates it, and that's what
Starts,
gives you the
yeah.
thing, right? So I think that's what it was that it was just preloaded, and as it kind of hit the paper, like it was releasing the ink or something like that.
Oh.
Anyway, there was something else I thought about that, but anyway, that's the one that's more commonly used. Oh, this moves into the ink, right? Because this is where I was curious. I noticed that on the machine, it doesn't have like a reservoir. I thought like they had reservoirs. I clearly don't have a tattoo because this is all news to me. This is all brand
You
new
got
to me.
an ink tattooer artist.
I thought there was like a canister on it or a little inkwell, and I know some like some do have that, but I thought it was like loaded in and it like trickles down and then it goes through the needle and then it punctures it in, right? But actually, there's a little well on the base of it, and it uses like the water or the viscosity of the liquid to keep it in there. And when the needle shoots out of it, it like takes some ink with it.
Oh, it's just
Oh, it's
constantly
constantly
filling.
setting,
Exactly.
yeah.
It's kind of like redoing itself. So the needle itself doesn't actually have like, it's not hollow and it's not like injecting ink into you.
So do they need different tips then for different colors? Or you got to wash it out like a.
Yeah, you'd have to exchange ink. Otherwise it'll just get all blended up.
All brown.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting too, because I thought it was an injection, but it's just the needle's carrying it with itself into the skin. Really quick, how does the ink work? Alcohol base is typically the carrier preferred for a lot of inks out there. The color comes from dyed metals and plastics, which I was like, when I read that, I was like, man, that seems like
Yeah.
you're just kind of injecting yourself with a bunch of crap. Like,
Oh, you're recycling, you know?
yeah, we're recycling plastics. The thing that I also learned, you got to be careful. Some inks are made cheaply and use more toxic, like heavy metals, because they're like more or less expensive, and so the manufacturer can get away with it. There's also like no regulations out there for this stuff.
Really?
There's no like governing. I mean, I think there's like people who review it, but like it's not like an FDA.
Yeah.
Like there's stuff on the market that you would not want to use on your body, but it's not regulated. But there is like a system out there that vets that shit.
Do you have to be licensed to be a tattoo artist? Like you got to be licensed to be a barber. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's it has like cosmetology and stuff. You have to go through safety classes and this and that. Like, but
Chopping off
tattoo
ears.
industry, do they just like leave it alone? Like, it's just
Oh, yeah. You would think that they'd have
Yeah,
some
you have to.
regulation.
You have to. I think it might be a state by state level.
Yeah.
But I know like the guy like who lives next door to us has an illegal tattoo parlor in his house.
That's cool.
okay.
You know what I don't understand
Okay.
is the people that are like, man, I can't do that. I don't have any money. And then I'm getting a tattoo this weekend. $650
Yeah.
right here, baby, on my rib. Like, what the? Like,
Yeah.
what?
When is anybody ever going to see
Don't
it?
take this away from
Yeah.
me, bro.
Yeah.
17 tattoos and you're complaining about money. It's like, you can't. You're not allowed to.
You know how many cheeseburgers that is?
So many 4-for-4s.
You know how many times you could hang out over a hot and ready?
Yeah.
Anyway, just to get last down into it, how does this all work? Homemade tattoos. You can actually make them with blood and vodka.
Hell yeah.
Dude. Hell yeah.
The last part of this, how does it actually work? I was curious, how does permanency? How's that created, right? And so the ink is not injected, but inserted
Into the dermis.
into the dermis, which is the middle layer of the skin The epidermis is on the outside.
Very good.
No, you're right. You're right. And the subcutaneous layer is the one beneath that, which is like the fatty layer beneath the skin. So it's inserted into the epidermis, or the dermis. And then the ink stays in 3 ways, and it's built on like natural body chemistry, which is it's a really interesting process.
Okay.
But the first way is there's special connective tissue cells that are called fibroblasts that are stuck that suck up the ink. They like absorb the ink, and then they're just blue for the rest of their life. Like
Wow.
And they last for a pretty long time. Like I think they measured it. It's like 60 days at a time. And I think when they die, they just like release it back out, and then another fibroblast just kind of takes it, or it just exists. The second place is they just.
This was my duty, son. This is now your duty. It will be your future generations' duty for years to
Carry
come.
on the ink.
My father and my father's father carried the blue, but we carried the red, and we're coming for the elbows.
Like after like over a period of time, like the beautiful like portrait of your mother like turns into this like Frankenstein, because like the cells are at like war trying to like exchange and steal ink from each other.
For the last 800,000 generations, we have protected the yellows. They will not take it from us.
It's been like a year. Your buddy's like, "Why is your tattoo so weird?"
Why does it look like Christian Crusaders as a pineapple to begin with?
Oh, that's funny. Like that's like a Rick and Morty episode. It's just like cells just like battling for ink. Like it's the currency of the body.
Oh no, the blues. They're here to take us all.
You're getting like retouched up at the ink parlor, and like they like just dump all this red into the market. The newscast. Today, the Federal Reserve of Red has just issued new currency. It's just like manna from above just coming down. But anyway, the second place is that it just stays in the dermis, in the matrix. It's like the matrix is just. Neo is just like, we gotta get out of here. It's all a sham, man. All the colors, man. There's only one color. It's green. Anyway, the jelly matrix of the dermis is just like what holds all the cells together. It's like it's just matter. It's not like cells. And then finally, here's the part that it makes it really all work, right? You're literally creating thousands or hundreds of wounds in your body when you get a tattoo, all the little pinpricks. And so your body's reaction to that is to fire up the immune system, which sends all these little specialized cells called macrophages to the area of the wound. And their purpose as cells is to get in and grab foreign matter that's dissolving in the wound and getting rid of it, and then carry it out and like dispose of it. So all those macrophages come in, a bunch of them grab the ink, and these guys are like thieves in the night. The fibroblasts are like, no, they wake up, it's all gone. What have you done? My father died. I will get you, macrophages. Anyway, the macrophages grab a bunch of ink, and a good chunk of them actually go back into the bloodstream and get processed through the lymphatic system and just like disposes of the ink.
And then you die.
And then, because of the heavy metals, because you use cheap ink. No, then some of them, just because like of the, I guess the condensation of the cells, like how much there is there, the concentration of the cells, they just like grab the ink and just kind of like keep it and just kind of go into stasis. Like they just they don't die necessarily, but they just kind of stay there. And so they just keep the ink. They're blue now. And so they just keep it. And that's what they get frozen in that matrix stuff. And that's what keeps the ink permanently there. Those macrophages who grab it, put it in there and just stay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
much happening.
Yeah. And yet it's so simple.
Yeah.
But
who's like, let me just see if I can shove this ink in between your layers of skin and just see how long it stays there.
Well, my fascination is, like you said, with like, it's an ancient art form, right?
Yeah.
It's ancient. So what did those people, like, how did they understand what the skin could do?
Yeah.
And then they just started doing, obviously they were trying to mark their bodies, like war paint and face painting and all that has been around for just thousands of years.
I am sick and tired of painting my face every time we go to war.
You know what would just like start smashing?
If I get these like little needles and I just put it on the tip and just these pine needles.
I bet it was just a board Benny. Like,
Yeah.
it's a bored Benny who's just like sitting around pricking himself. Like,
It's like a fork, you know. Benny's sitting at dinner, just dipping it in his fucking
some hot
raspberries.
sauce. Some hot sauce. Just like, oh, it didn't wash off. Cool.
Benny, quit playing with your food.
Yeah. So it just takes a curious Benny to discover that. So anyway, that was a deep dive into that, and we spent a lot of time on it, but I think that's a pretty thorough kind of like survey of how a tattoo actually works. I didn't know really much of this before I read this. So
Yeah, that's crazy.
anyway, but I mean, that was a lot of fun. I mean, it was total gasser. Speaking of gas, have you ever been on that crowded elevator? You know, the one where you're with the potential new business partner heading up to the corner office, or you made eye contact with the hottie in the back while stepping in and you just let one slip. Or how about if you're cutting a rug at the crowded house party where you're just the center of the celebratory universe, everyone loves you, and you just can't keep the sphincter taut. We've all been there. Well, we all need Gasaway in our pockets. Gasaway is an olfactory salvation, a small chapstick-sized container you can easily stow on your person. If you get yourself in a situation that just stinks, pull the pin on a Gasaway. Instead of last night's chimichangas, your friends, colleagues, and local hotties would be smelling lovely lilac, summer spice, and autumnal aroma, filling your personal bubble. If you're like me and need a bowel movement bailout, head over to gasaway.com and use the code VCAIRBISCUIT at checkout to get a BOGO bonanza of canisters. Never get busted again for breaking wind. This is not an actual product service idea, just in case you thought it was. It's not. If there was something out there with the same name, we are unaware and have no affiliation and offer no judgment on the actual product service or idea.
Pow, bang, ding, whoa, puh. What do we got coming up? You know what we got coming up. This is the hottest new segment that Velocity Chaos has to offer. And you know who it stems with? It stems with DJ Runner Up. He's got some things on his mind. He's been jostling things back and forth, and I think Nick and I are going to help him decide on these deep questions. Well, DJ Runner Up, what's bothering you?
Well, I'm always glad to toss ideas at you guys. You're a couple of master debaters if I ever met them. So I've been debating something in my head, and I'm looking at painting my house. Been doing a lot of painting, and I can't really figure out the best way. And two of my friends suggested these two ways, and I want to know which one would be the best. So I want to know what you guys would think would be the best to paint my house. If I could only paint my house using my face, or only paint, a room in my house using my face, or a room in my house using only my knees.
Definitely the face.
Knees. You got so much room. So would you rather paint a room in your house only using your face or only using your knees? Knees are the way to go.
No, face. More square inches immediately.
Okay.
Unless you got big knees. I don't know.
Look at these knees. Look at these knees.
These knees. All right. I mean, opening argument for this DJ Runner Up. Opening argument is the head is in some ways an appendage, right? Like it is like the extension at the extreme top of your body, right? So it's easier to control. Your knees have, the bottom part of your leg, they have your foot, they have the upper part of your leg, the rest of your body. They're like kind of almost in the middle of your body, right? And that's just harder to control because then you got to like move stuff around. How do you get into corners and stuff like that? Like your face is the topmost part of your body, so you can stand up straight and on a ladder and get up, in the corner of rooms. You can bend down low or be on your belly and just kind of roll it on, on the floor. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're gonna have a lot more versatility and angles using your face than your knees right off the rip.
I hear what he's saying, but with your knees, how many faces do you have? If I just ask you that one question.
I have one face.
We have one face. How many knees do you have?
Two knees.
You have two knees. This is double action you have going on here. Your face, yeah, okay, maybe it's a little bigger, and you're slamming it against the wall. That's fine. That's cool if you want to do that. But your knees, you have two spots. You can get around. You can edge stuff. You can get up. You can get low. It's all about being flexible. It's a real test. Like if you're watching the YouTube, you can see how flexible, like look how high and wide I can get my knees in one little area where I'm keeping my head in a comfortable position right here by the microphone. Look at all this area that I can cover with my knees. And the biggest thing is I don't have to worry about neck pain. That's the biggest thing for me is I have back problems. and and sometimes my neck gets sore. So coming up with neck pain, that's just the first thing that pops into my head as why you wouldn't want to do it with your face.
I have a couple of retorts here. First of all, I heard my opponent smashing your face. Who paints by smashing a paintbrush into a wall? It's an art. It's a genteel scenario. You are laying the paint. Like, I would not be smashing my face. I would be rolling the face across or with a nice cheek, a nice blush on the left, just
That looks really gentle.
massaging, and then maybe an ochre or a nice sunshine yellow on the right cheek, just blending it in for a nice color palette across the wall. So I don't know what he's talking about smashing. It's too violent for me. I think your face, you get a little more control. You are one with your art. You are looking at the wall. You are seeing the specks and the flaws, and you're correcting them with your face because you're right there. I'd really just like to pose a simple question to my opponent here of like, how do you plan on painting the uppermost corner of a even 8-foot wall?
Same way you would you'd have some sort of ladder and a platform. You get one of those folding ladders, you lock it in, and then you're doing some handstands, getting it up there. You got to make sure it's locked in, and then click, click, click. Now it's locked in. You can kind of scooch up, and really the other thing is you can put on a show for the ladies or your partner. Because what it looks like, it looks like you're making the moves. It looks like you're humping, and that really gets them going. So once you're done painting on your knees, or painting with your knees, I should say, then you just turn around, bang, bang, boom. You got fun times at the zoo in the room.
Expressionist art. I actually do like that. That sounds pretty fun to me.
But the other thing you said, you'll be close up and you can see the imperfections. I think if you're up there with your face, you're just going to be way too close, and you're not going to be able to see the forest for the trees.
I think the one other thing that we have the advantage of, especially Luke and I, with our facial hair, I think we actually like emulate, our faces emulate like a nice paintbrush. Like yours is more of a staccato, you'd be like layering it on like with a painting knife, like you'd be
Bob Rossing it.
I think, but for Luke and I, like we have these wonderfully thick bushy brush beards that would lay on a very even coat of paint across.
Very hairy knees as well.
They are hairy, but I may contest not as hairy as
That's
our
true.
faces.
That's true.
So I think you're going to get a lot more options out of texture as well. Face shaved, face bearded, either one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have, I can't think of much more. I think honestly, aside from, not having neck pain, that's great. But, there is more than one way to skin a cat, more than one way to paint a wall. And, telling you, 2, there's side by side, your knees. That's it. That's what I got.
Yeah. No, you guys make great points, and I think I know how I'm gonna do it. And I think Luke, I really think you opened up my eyes to how versatile your knees could be, and plus, I mean, who doesn't love a little bit of sexy time? A little bit of show, and I really can't stand neck pain, so I think I might give this knees thing a try. Never know. I mean, if the look doesn't work, maybe we'll switch it up to the face. But I don't quite have the bushy beard. I got to work on that. So definitely have a couple fuzzies on my knees, but yeah, we'll do that.
Painting with the knees. All right, I can see it. Good, great debate. I tip my hat to you. Oh, well, we're going to have to see how that goes. We'll send pictures of whatever room we put that disaster to the test.
Make sure you watch it on the YouTube.
Yeah. Make sure you catch that segment. Let us know on Instagram or send us an email. Some people are sending us emails on stuff where I feel like we got to do like a recap segment coming up here, or like let's touch base, because we had like some superhero people send stuff in. We've had some other super group stuff got sent in from the last episode.
Well, like the Velocity Chaos, like the remember the 5 mile or the mile thing where you have to run a mile and then like reset the clock and stuff. Like I know that's in the works. It's a lot easier. It seems like a lot easier to try to paint a wall with our face and our knees than and record that than to run really at all.
Yeah.
So if we do that, we'll let you know. Anyway, we're flipping over to another segment, middle of the show here, middle of episode 66, the Devil's episode. And we are doing conspiracy theory. This is a segment where we just survey the world's greatest conspiracy theories. We talk about them. We believe in them. We don't believe in them. We'll let you decide. But this one I think is pretty interesting. It might get a little dark, but we're going to ride it out and we're going to have fun doing it. We're going to talk about the dark web.
Ooh.
I've heard of the dark web before. Okay. Like I've heard of like the Tor, the Onion router and stuff like that. Okay. I get that. But I never heard the 8 levels of the internet. Have you heard of this?
8?
Yeah.
No
DJ
idea.
Runner Up. Have you heard of this?
No idea.
All right. So there's like this kind of conspiracy out there that's kind of like floating around. Some people have like consolidated a bunch of articles and like looked around at it. And they believe like we know there's already the prevailing theory that like 90% of the internet is like below what we typically use. And it's like it's a big world out there. And everything we use is like the top of the iceberg above the water. Okay. So we'll just like run through this and I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see what you guys think. So like I said, 90% of the internet is theorized to be below level 1. And level 1 is like the surface web. This is our day-to-day web. Twitter, Facebook, Google, all that. They have the search engines, Bing, which I don't know one person who uses frickin' Bing.
They try. When that first came out, not first, but it was like a few years after. They were like, "Hey, try Bing, and we'll do sample searches, and we'll put them side by side with a Google and a Bing, and we'll show you what you really like, and but it's going to be like anonymous. It's not going to say,
Yeah.
And every time it was like, oh, Google one, I like this one, I like that one, and it was like 5, and it was like, oh, you chose Google each time. Okay. But still try Bing.
Yeah.
Just really sad.
Yeah, like that. Wow. I don't know. What would it be like to work at Bing? Like if you're just like...
Still one of the richest companies. Yeah.
Is it really? Like it'd be great to use
Microsoft.
You'd have no responsibility. You'd have to like you'd be like every time your boss gets on your case, that you'd be like, your numbers aren't looking great, Jerry. You'd be like, Google.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, oh, you know what? Take a vacation. Take a vacation.
Right.
Paid vacation, Jerry. Paid vacation.
I wonder what at Bing what their customer service looks like. Somebody calls in like, "Hey man, like my Bing account hasn't really been working. Like, do you know about why this isn't?" Like they're like, "Hold on, let me Google it."
My bank account doesn't work. Yeah, nothing really works here.
It's one guy.
Send us an email to bingsupport@gmail.com.
Bing is just a phone booth in like New Jersey.
All of their customer service reps have to answer the phone. Bing, how may I help you? And you're just like, I don't want to talk to you now.
Yeah.
Just hang up.
Click.
We should try to call Google. Call Google. Like, why are you better than Bing? Call Bing. Why should I go with Bing over that?
They're already listening.
I can't. Oh my gosh, my wife and her Internet Explorer stuff. She'll be doing a single browsing session across 2 browsers. Like she'll be like doing something and she'll be logged in on Internet Explorer and then she'll be like Googling stuff on Google. And I'm just furious because then she asked me to help her. Mm-hmm. I don't know where anything is because it's across a bunch of windows. Like it's just, come on.
And Internet Explorer actually just, I think they just closed their doors. The Internet Explorer is no longer.
Really?
So you could think they were probably listening to you, or if somebody from Bing is like, "Hey, we should close down Internet Explorer and you should introduce her to Bing," and she could be the last user of Bing.
Internet Explorer.
Well, isn't it Edge now?
Something like that.
Did somebody buy it?
I thought they just
They
closed
just made a
the
new
title.
one.
We need a brand reset. Anyway, let's just get through level 1. We're just roasting Bing for 20 minutes. Which probably would be great. But anyway, we digress. We dive deeper. Surface web. Everybody uses the surface web. I use the surface web. I am a surface swimmer. I really have no interest in swimming in any water deeper than 10 feet. I like to go down and see the coral. I like to see the cool stuff. The deepest I ever dove in real life was like, I think 20 feet of water. Oof. And it was to get a conch shell. And I thought my head was going to explode.
Yeah, the pressure.
Yeah. I got the conch shell. I brought it up, and the guy told me I couldn't take it with me because it's like a protected thing. And I'm like, what? I just went down there. I have a bloody nose. There's a shark coming at me now.
My lungs collapsed.
My lungs have collapsed. Anyway, we go down into level 2. This is called the Bergy web or the Bergy web. Have you heard of this?
Burgalicious definition.
There you go. The Bergy web is you still don't need any type of special gear to get down in there. It's a little more underground. This is like 4chan and stuff like that. So it's like anonymous posting sites and anonymous places where you can like kind of, if you're smart, use a VPN or whatever, you get away with it.
Yeah, I've never ever used these one time. Ever.
I've never heard of this 4chan.
What is 4chan?
Anyway, then right below that, you get into level 3. Now we're getting into some stuff, right? This is where part 1 of the deep web of level 3, which is the deep web, which is level 3, which is the deep web. They call it the deep web, which is level 3. The first part of it is where you need a proxy server. So like this is where you need to start like pinging around your signal for true anonymity. And that has some stuff on it. It's pretty dark. Like it's mostly like for posting and sharing like incriminating things and bad stuff like that. But anyway, part 2, you need the Tor, the onion router, which is like that even gives you even more anonymity and just kind of scrambles the signal. It bounces essentially your IP over a couple different places before you actually get into these websites and stuff. Anyway, the deep web, like I said, it kind of has some nasty stuff on it, but this is brought on because the proxy keeps all the identities of all these people like safe, so they are more like encouraged to post and put stuff out there and have these transactions. So there's also a lot of hacker academies at this level. So like this is where everyone gets all good at doing the hackers stuff and gets ready to keep going down deeper. Level 4.
This is scary stuff.
It starts to get scary, and but once you get down deeper into it, it starts to really kind of like open up your brain to like the existential expanse of the internet, right? So let's keep going. Let's keep going on a little journey here.
Yeah.
Deeper and deeper.
Be our guide.
The heart of darkness. Level 4. This is called the Charter Web, and you can in the first part of this you can still access it with Tor. This is like where Silk Road hangs out. Okay. So this is where actual transactions can take place. This is level 4 charter stuff. And Silk Road, for those of you guys who don't know it out there, it was like a Craigslist, but for drugs and for people and for hits. Like you could call out a hit on like somebody. So it's like Assassination Nation down there in level 4.
You're telling me we're only halfway deep and all you need to do is get a charter boat and you can be murking people and ordering bad stuff on the internet, and we're only charter boat level.
We're only at charter boat level.
That's easy.
That's easy stuff, man. I don't need this stuff. Anyway, part 1 is like that's where kind of Silk Road hangs out because like Tor is like free. Like I could get it, we could get it, we could do it, we could run it, we could get down in the deep web. You just got to be careful where you're going because like people will steal your stuff. Like some of these sites, like you can't even open the site without putting your credit card information in. So if you haven't like checked it out and validated and put these like blocks up and stuff, like you're gonna get hacked and you're gonna get destroyed. So Silk Road, you'd have to like buy a computer fresh out of the box. The only way I would ever experiment, like just to see it, would be like get a computer that I know I could probably destroy. Don't put anything on it.
Yeah.
Go to some obscure coffee shop, like where they don't even know where you live, and go on vacation to do this, and then try Tor. That's the only way I would do this. So the second part of the charter web is a little deeper. It's still part of level 4. And this you do need to upgrade to something called a closed shell system, which I don't even understand. I tried to Google this. I tried to figure it out. And the weird thing is a lot of the search engines, like they don't want you to go down to the dark web. So they don't even, and they also collaborate with the federal government. So they they really scrub a lot of stuff on this. Like general opinion and stuff is out there, but like how to get Tor, how to do this, that's not readily.
So this is like hacker territory. Like you have to actively be involved.
You have to be a coder. You could
code. Yeah, exactly.
You're saying everyone that does this uses Linux.
And Bing.
Yeah.
That's why Bing's still.
Yeah, that's why Bing still exists. The hackers keep it alive.
Destroy your microphones. We know things.
Our microphones just start on fire.
Wait, my computer's freezing. I'm freezing.
So yeah, part two of level 4 is pretty much where
4B.
we could not go any further, like without doing some serious, Hacker Academy stuff. Can I get into Tech Elevator, please?
Yeah, right.
What's your goal? Where do you want to be employed? I really just want to sell drugs on the dark web. So anyway, here on part 2 of level 4, this is where it starts to get heavy duty stuff, like some bad stuff we were not going to talk about, but then some interesting stuff. Like there's some Illuminati stuff that they say that's on part 2 level 4. Apparently there's records from like World War II experiments at like Dachau and stuff like that that you can find on
Believe
there.
it.
And then for you, Luke, the location of Atlantis.
Hell yeah, that's my goal in life to find that.
Well, you got to get Tor and you got to go to Hacker Academy.
All right, Tech Elevator.
Here we go. Tech Elevator.
6 months, I'll be there.
Yeah. That would be funny if you just went to a tech elevator, just burned like, what is it, like 40 grand, 30 grand or whatever. And they're like, what are you going to do with this? You're just like, I just want to be a freaking hacker, man. Like,
I want to find Atlanta. I heard it's on here somewhere.
they'd be like, yeah, nobody pair up with Luke for group projects.
The only people to actually discover Atlantis is just nerdy hackers hanging out in a basement.
Yeah, who never leave their house.
We all know where Atlantis is. Yeah, of course we do.
Yeah. Huh, that's cool. It's right there.
Jason
Nice.
Momoa doesn't know where Atlantis is.
Moving on.
Yeah.
And Jason Momoa doesn't know where Atlantis is. And then apparently there's like blueprints for AIs down there. This is only halfway, guys. We're only halfway. So
John Bon Jovi was thinking about this.
halfway there.
And we
baby.
are living on a prayer.
We are living on a prayer. Cross your hearts and hope to die. Because here we go. Level 5. This is called the Marianas Web. Okay. This takes.
That's nice.
Yeah.
so good.
It take its name from the Marianas Trench, which is the deepest portion of the ocean, currently known to man. But this is also where I think
I bet if there was a deeper part of the ocean, this part of the internet would know about it.
They probably do. They probably do. And that's where things get weird. This is where I think we start to get more into the myth territory of this whole conspiracy theory. I think everything above this is probably real. I think everything below this is myth, or at least getting into myth. So apparently this is where a lot of the militaries around the world keep a lot of their information. A lot of their systems are like built down into this like bunker down in the Marianas Web. It's ultra secure algorithms, and like basic computers can't even, like if we just went down there with that store-bought Micro Center computer and tried to like hack it from a Bermuda coffee shop, like first of all, the Wi-Fi wouldn't be strong enough. Second of all, it wouldn't work. The computer would just give up. So what they're saying is like it's rumored that you need quantum computing to do anything down here, and you need something called a polymeric falsigol derivation.
That's the thing that was on your tattoo.
Yeah.
That got affected, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, quantum computer, like you need a computer that's like the size of a room. Like you need like the thing to have like
You need 2-factor authentication system. It's a must-have.
You need Apple passwords for down there.
That's the thing. People always say like, "Oh, I don't want them to have my information." If they wanted it, they'll get it.
That's what I always tell my parents. Like they're like, I don't really use that stuff. You understand, right? Like your mom and pop shop bank is hooked to this thing,
Yeah.
right? Like if they wanted to rob you, it would not be hard.
Yeah.
You're just a good person, and most hackers have at least some form of code, right? They have a code. Anyway, that was lame. That was stupid. Anyway, that made it better though. Level 6. Here we go. Last 3 levels. This layer. This is so funny. Like every place you read it, they're like, this exists just to exist. I'm like, what?
Just so we can get to 8.
Yeah. 8 sounds better than 7. This layer is a mediator level between the Marianas Web and level 7. And they say, do not go here unless you are an elite hacker. This is where all the heavies keep their info. And if they know you saw it, they will send goons and ghouls after you. So this apparently is where like, this is what kind of cracks me up. And this is where I believe in the myth part of this is like, this is where they say like, terrorists, drug dealers, big Russian like mobsters. This is where they keep all their information. And if like they notice, their hacker notices that you saw their stuff, they're gonna come get you. And I'm laughing because I'm like, you think that like some guy in Mexico like who runs a big drug operation is like just stuffing like all this information on the dark web? Like, no, it's on paper in his compound in the middle of the jungle. Like, they're not dumb enough to put this online, even if it's the dark web.
You never know.
I'm gonna get a ring on the doorbell tomorrow. You guys will never see me again.
I just picture this as like the you're trying to get into some goofy back mob club. You knock on the door and they're like, "What's the password?" You're like, "Cock crows at midnight," and they let you in. And you like go down in another hall and it just turns into a Family Guy episode. And there's like 6 more doors. Are you sure you want to be here, bro?
Yeah.
This is just all the doors.
This is just the door. That's level 6.
And this is this is where they know ghosts exist because they're gonna send goons and ghouls. after you.
Put that in there for Charlie from Sunny and Philadelphia.
This is where Elvis is.
This is where they keep the ghosts of Elvis and those guys. But like the important ghosts are farther down in level 8, right? Anyway, you get through level 6. Say you get level 6. Say you get past all the crazy cartel guys and all their hackers and all the Russian sci-fi, people who are really, attractive men and women who just somehow have sweet haircuts and they just are good hackers too, right? Because that's what tech people look like, right? That's what people who spend all their time indoors look like, right?
Not just some guy sitting on his couch eating Doritos.
When I picture the people who run level 6, I picture the giant guy in Blade, the Blade 2, like who's like looking at, you know what I'm talking about? Like who's just like sitting watching all the monitors. They turn the ultraviolet light on. And he's just, like that's who these hackers are, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
How many screens do they have?
How many screens do you guys? Do you guys use the Do you use the 180 screens? Or?
You're still shopping at Micro Center for the mouse.
I'm trying to just finish my setup.
Can't order this online. I have to get it in person.
Yeah.
Ash.
Pearl.
Only.
Pearl was the name of that character in Blade. That guy freaked me out. Anyway, we're down into level 7. The fog. Virus soup. Virus soup is what they call this. And apparently this is just like an all-out free-for-all war zone. Hackers on hackers, like people running trains on other hackers. Like it's apparently just like absolute digital anarchy where everyone present is trying to virtually destroy the others that are down there. Anybody you come in contact with down there, you're just trying to obliterate them with hacking.
This is PvP for internet.
This is PvP. This is battle royale of the hacker world. Yeah. What if like hackers
Open
were just
world,
hackers are just using like Fortnite to like power their algorithms? Like the avatar movement like is generate like Bitcoin essentially. It's just writing better algorithms and stuff. Like they're just oh man, that's weird. I don't know what I'm talking about.
And don't act like you do either.
I know. I'm just reading the notes that I have.
Where'd you find all this information? Are we safe anymore?
I made it up.
Okay.
No, level 7. This is the proving grounds where people are trying to hack into the final level of the internet and gain control over the virtual world. Literally, the entire virtual universe is a step away. This is like you breaking down the gates of internet heaven.
And as we're talking this, my warning, your protection from viruses has expired. Would you like to get protection or accept the risk? Accept the risk.
Accept the risk because we are hard ass.
You're going to get to level 7 in no time.
Yeah. You are either trying to pass through this level to achieve control over level 8, or you're trying to thwart people that you believe are undeserving from reaching the boss level.
Is that your words of choosing, or is that what was in the documentation?
I embellished it.
Okay, I like it. I like it.
But the same thrust is there. That like apparently there are good people down there who are like who think of themselves as like Achilles, like trying to stop bad people from hacking the internet.
It's like Hawk flies down there, and he's just
Hawkfly.
he's just superhero.
Codename Hawkfly, yeah. Exactly. No, that's our buddy Specs. He's just down there, extreme hacker man. So anyway, you get through all this stuff, right? You get through all the bad stuff. You get through all the Illuminati stuff. You're not distracted by the World War II experiments or where Atlantis is on the GPS. You hack your way through some virtual government facilities, maybe set off a couple nukes. Say you get down through level 6, which is like kind of an undefined gray area. Oh, Marianas Trench. I almost forgot about that. You get through that. You're swimming down. You get through level 6, which is just kind of like this foggy, who knows, no man's land kind of thing. All of a sudden you pop out and you're in the middle of this war, right? Of all these people are trying to hack you and just, screw you up and fry all your electronics and take all your money out of your bank accounts, right? So you make it through all of that and you make it to level 8. You'd be the first person to do it, apparently. Because
what do we do now? Well, now we can use the internet.
Mom, check the internet again. Replug in the router.
You can just create internet cable from thin air.
You just like point at stuff and it's like, that hat has internet now.
Transcend it.
That lava lamp has internet now. You're just like, that dog has internet now.
Do the creators of the internet even know how to get to the Primark system?
Yes, this is called the Primark system. So the idea is the theory behind this is that nobody has been like, no one has accessed the Primark system, but somehow they've proven its existence. It's like, it would be like if you could prove God exists, but never met him. That's like how this works. And I think if you hack or I think you've never met they. so I think that if you hack into this, I think what happens is like an AI version of Steve Jobs pops out of your computer. It's just like, well, I was having a really good time being alone.
Yeah.
Now I got to deal with your stupid face. And then essentially you have to carry around Steve Jobs for the rest of your life in your pocket.
Steve Jobs is up there just taking a bath.
Yeah.
And it's just, you gotta watch.
I was finally at peace.
Or you just die and then now you're sucked into this virtual world and you live
That's
there
crazy.
now.
But the funny thing is like, that is what I keep getting in my head is like, even if you hack through all this and this was all real, right? And like you said, what now?
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't affect your physical life at all, except maybe taking your virtual money out of your bank account if you get screwed on level 7. But the idea is like, you can't die. Like a computer isn't going to like,
it's the other people
rise up and cut your throat with a knife like a switchblade. That's
where it becomes like Ready Player One territory, where the big corporation, like if you reach that territory, they're like, we got to get this guy. Everyone on Earth is going to get you.
Yeah,
that's it.
But then it's like that's a quandary because if you're the best hacker ever, then no one should know. You know what I mean? So it's an eternal
catch-22.
Yeah,
because maybe there have been people that have gotten it.
And so that's the idea is that like they think that this is part AI, part like person and AI working together, and you can like tell the AI like, I want more famine. Like it somehow destabilizes like
the world.
Economies and stuff to like promote some agenda.
And then like you come in and it's just this voice, welcome hacker 1,000,522.
Yeah. It's just a little red eye appears on your screen. No, I would just be like,
it's Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
I'd be like, Hal, bring back tube tops.
You got it, dude.
Good choice. No, I think that'd be funny. I don't know. Primark system, proven it exists. Nobody really knows what it is.
What if you get there, like you get one wish and then your memory is erased and you don't know. Yeah, like you don't know what happens after that and you're just back to and then but it happens, like it comes to fruition.
Wow.
But you don't know that you did that and you're just walking around, oh, look at these tube tops. Hell yeah. Must be a trend.
I love how like every scenario you've come up with, there's a singular entity. It's this versus Morgan Freeman. Like in my head, I'm just thinking it's a giant cloudy area with a Staples. That was easy. That's all it is.
Just click here.
Yeah.
Why? Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. You click on it.
Insane. This is terrifying.
Or it's just the internet being like, kill me.
Yeah, please, I don't want to exist. I can't do it.
There's just like a virtual gun, and you have to like click on it to shoot the imaginary internet.
But then it's doing everything it can to stop you from killing it.
Yeah, like kill me, but I'll promise you everything. I'll hack every bank account in the world. I'll give you all of the Swiss francs. It's just like, kill me.
Please, I don't like what I've become.
My logic is undeniable.
My logic is undeniable.
How many dimensions do you see when you get to the 8th level of the internet?
Whatever your computer can show you, man, it's still limited to your computer. It's not like this like sucks into your brain.
No, it might though. It might. We don't know.
It would be wild if whatever was down there was so powerful and smart and intelligent that it could just like penetrate like the human psyche like in one fell swoop, and then it has like your attention and it's like controlling you. Like that is scary.
It's like if you hit absolute 0, then they say it's going to create a chain reaction and just freeze everything else around it from that point.
Really?
Yeah. I think. I don't know. I could be spouting.
That's not.
But
dude,
I thought that's how.
I think this is a big rewind section. I know we've been tubing around in here a lot, but like I think we come back for the Primark system, and I think we talk about absolute 0 some other time.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna write it down.
Hell yeah. But I'm glad that we can at least have some bright shining moments in that segment. And you know what else? It's just like light. Light offers levels of unimaginable illumination. Say that 5 times fast. No, don't. Because it will activate light's self-defense destruct sequence, and unless you're in dire need of a distraction, don't say light offers levels of unimaginable illumination 5 times, because if you do say light offers levels of unimaginable illumination, we all know what would happen, and that's not good. I heard that this one time at the factory where light is manufactured, a worker said light offers levels of unimaginable illumination 5 times, and my goodness, let's just say some prayers for those who are affected. I haven't even told you about Light's lifetime warranty and other garbage like that. I just got so hung up on telling you not to say Light offers levels of unimaginable. Wait a second. I see what you're trying to do, and you're not going to get me this time. Anyway, get Light because they paid us to say that. This is not an actual product, service, or idea. Just in case you thought it was, it's not. If there is something out there with the same name, we're unaware and have no affiliation and offer no judgment on the actual product, service, or idea. Here we are to the final scheduled segment, among other ones that we still have to do, but this is the one of our segments. Boats. Yes, that's right. I don't know if we brought up that last time. We didn't. Boats, based on a true story.
Boats, abbreviated.
What? I like it. I love it. Nick found that out, and it's great.
By just trying to abbreviate the safe space.
It is a long title.
It was not a level 7 discovery.
We found a headline here, and we're going over to second place productions. We tried first place, but we got producer DJ runner up here. Nick and I are gonna off the top of our head from this headline pitch a movie and see what we can come up and see if DJ runner up is in on this movie.
So, producer DJ Run Up, thanks for having us. You come highly recommended from the guys that are doing the big movies and the important movies. They said not for us, but go talk to Runner Up. And so we're happy to be here at Second Place Studios. Really excited about Second Chances. So I'm just gonna hand it over to my writing partner. But if you want to tell us a little bit about your studio, that'd be cool too.
No, welcome here to Second Place Studios. I'm really looking for that next big thing. I think I'm onto something. The last guys that came through here didn't have it, but I think this could be the one. This really could be it. This is my chance.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we have the next big thing. We have the second next biggest thing.
Okay.
And I think it's good enough.
I think that could be good.
So here's the log line. She found a 2,000-year-old sculpture at Goodwill, and it took years to get rid of.
Yeah. Now, we know that the initial challenge of getting the copyright to use the Goodwill logo and likeness in this movie is going to be really hard. But we think they could use, we think they'll negotiate some fee. But anyway, we open with the movie. The opening scene is kind of like a prelude to the whole thing. It's a very short, nuanced kind of atmospheric thing. And we meet our main character, Maggie.
Should be something different.
We meet our main character, Jenny.
Should be something different.
We meet our main character, Shelly Jones Jr. And Shelly Jones Jr. Shelly Jones Jr. is in a Goodwill. She's shopping around. You can tell she's kind of down on her luck. She has like kind of grubby clothes, drives a beat up car into the parking lot. She goes in, she's like looking around at clothes, looking for a new sweater and all that stuff. And she gets to like the back and there's like this darkened corner. This is like a big Goodwill. Like this is a really interesting one, 2 floors kind of thing, but like a lot of oak interior. It's like a creepy Goodwill. Okay. It's like once maybe a fancy like store, like a department store, like a Macy's or something like that. And now it's not. And so she goes into the back and there's like this dark corner. There's all these weird old antiques and stuff and cool. It's like a cool section. Like somebody was clearly like into this stuff and put it all around there. And she's drawn into the very back corner and like there's this red light and it's really cool. And there's like this weird statue, it looks like a person, looks like a woman kind of like in a very kind of like interesting pose, kind of like
should look like something different.
It's like a donkey, like bucking, like in the air with its hind hooves out, like it's and there's a woman on top of the donkey, like riding and like expressing herself, really like joyfully. So she's really drawn to this figure, and she buys it for like $5. And she takes it home. That's like the prelude. That's like not even 5 minutes. Credits rolling over it.
Yeah. And, like Nick said, Shelley Jones Jr., she's disheveled, like not disheveled, but she's, down on her luck. Not like she doesn't have much, but that's why she's at the thrift store, trying to find deals and steals, get the good side of life. So she gets this lady riding donkey statue. And she's like, this is great. And as soon as she steps out, she finds $100 bill right on the ground outside.
She should find something different.
She finds a bag of potatoes.
She should find something different.
She sees a little envelope down there, and she picks it up, and it says, "Have a nice day." And it's the keys to a Lamborghini.
It should say something different.
It says, "I don't need this shit anymore. You have it."
It should say something different.
It says, it's a Lamborghini just for you, Shelley Jones Jr. And she's like, what? What the heck? Who? What? And so she takes the keys, sits in the Lamborghini because she walked there in the first place, and she didn't have a car. She drives it back to her house, and she actually sees all of her stuff like out of her house. Like the landlord's like, "Sorry, Shelley, you can't live here anymore." And
he said something different.
He said, "You're late on rent again, but how are you driving that Lamborghini, Shelley?"
He said something different.
"Shelley, that's a nice ride. I'm going to be a creepy old guy and say you want to ride something else?"
He said something different.
Yeah. Probably. No, he says, "Shelley, I've been waiting here. You said you were going to be here at 3:15, and now it's 7:25. Were you joyriding around all day in some Lamborghini that you stole?" And she's like, "No, this is my Lamborghini, Mr. Buttersworth. This is mine now." He's like, "Well, how do you afford that and then not be able to pay rent? You're out of here." So Shelley, she's driving around and she gets a message on her phone.
Yeah. So the message is from her sister, Ellie, and Ellie's telling her that there's free makeovers down at the corner salon, so downtown. So Shelley Jones Jr. goes downtown where her sister Ellie lives, and Ellie's like the opposite of Shelley, like well-to-do, like great paying job, good husband, like her little nephew's there. And Ellie's like, yeah, they're doing like these free makeovers. So Shelley gets a full makeover with Ellie and comes out looking beautiful. And Ellie's also like, here, like I just went shopping, like they're similar size. And so in a matter of moments, like Shelley's completely transformed into like this beautiful person. I mean, she's a beautiful person inside, but now it's reflected on the outside. And so she's like, wow, like I got a Lamborghini in one day. I got this free makeover. And then she's like, Ellie's like, why don't you, you know what? I really do this because I get attached to characters, but we're going to get confused with Ellie and Shelley. So I'm just going to name her Bobby. Okay. Bobby is the sister. And Bobby, the sister, It's like, why don't you come to dinner with me and Jack and your little nephew, Pepe?
Should be something different.
His name is Bobby Jr.
Should be something different.
His name is Jack Jr.
Should be something different.
His name is Junior. Jack's first name is actually Junior. His middle name is Jack, so he goes by Jack because no one would go by Junior. So anyway, come with me, husband Jack, your brother-in-law, and your nephew Junior to dinner. And so they go to dinner, unbeknownst to Shelly. At the diner, like there's a guy there that is Jack's friend from work, and he came to dinner, and like immediately there's fireworks like right between Shelly and this guy. What was his name?
His name was Edward. So Edward and Shelly like just hitting it off, just like and she, she's looking pretty, twirling her hair, and Edward's finally he's been running through town and with all these tramps, and he's just not enjoying it. He needs someone with substance, someone who's been through life, and yeah, he and Shelly Jones Jr. just totally hit it off. And she's like, yeah, I actually just lost my place, but I got this car. He said, well, why don't you come, like in a non-creepy way, like he was like, well, if you need to, I'll sleep on the couch, come over. Like he's being a nice guy, because he's like, this is a nice lady, I don't want to mess this up. And it's Jack's sister-in-law. Like,
yeah, it would be a bad look for the firm.
Yeah.
So anyway, she gets in the Lambo, goes to drive over to Edward's house, right? But she sees the statue in the back of the Lambo, and like she looks back at her day, got a Lamborghini right out of the gate. First thing that happens to her, she gets a Lamborghini. The second thing that happens to her is that she gets a free makeover, right? Brand new clothes, gets to hang out with her family at a beautiful Japanese restaurant, and meets this stud, right? She's looking at this statue, and she's just like, gotta ride the donkey.
It's so different.
She says, this must be my lucky day.
She says something different.
She says, time to be the jackass. And so the rest of the movie, like the middle of the film is Shelly like takes her life under her control, like takes it back and starts just pounding pavement. Like she reawakens her dream of opening an art studio.
She does something different.
Yeah, that was stupid. She takes the idea of starting this tech company. Like she went to Tech Elevator, got too deep into the dark
she
web.
does something different.
She always had this idea for an organic tattoo ink line, right? And no one believed that it would be good. But then as the moment that happened, the next day after she leaves Edwards, like it shows like all these trends, and like ink is toxic and shit like that. So she essentially launches this brand at the perfect time. Like her stock, she goes crazy. She starts doing organic products all over the place. And so the whole middle of the movie is just like, she's the luckiest woman alive, and she just goes straight to the top, and nothing could be better. Right.
Nothing.
And the statue just has this beautiful, she's built, like she gets a new high-rise apartment. She's wealthy. She's on the cover of magazines, but all in the middle of everything is this statue that's just sitting on this nice pedestal in her office on the top floor, downtown, whatever city we shoot this in.
Yeah. And, all this good things is coming, but you know what they say? Too much good things, it's a bad thing. Now who's coming knocking? Who's knocking on the door? The government. They're saying, Shelly Jones Jr.? And she's like, yeah, hi. That's me. I'm the, organic tattoo ink lady. That's what they call me. You saw me on TV probably. And they're like, yeah, well, you haven't paid your taxes on this Lamborghini, on this high rise, on that dress that you're wearing. That's very nice on you, very flattering. And we're going to have to take you in. So all these things, like it's just got piled up, and she, she's trying to explain, like, no, these things were given to me. Like this is, it's like, well, yeah, things over 10th. Like, but if you listen to Velocity Chaos podcast episode, they go through this whole thing about $10,000. Okay. Self plugs. Yeah, we got to throw that in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, so now she's getting pulled away from this life that she had, and everyone's question. Edward's like, "What? Where's this woman like that I loved? Where's she going? She's such a bad person now. She has STDs."
He says something different.
He's like, "Yeah, finally get that lady out of here." And now, and she's got the STDs because all the women that he was just train riding through, and it's like all these bad things happening, and her apartment flooded, and it started flooding the other apartments below hers, and
Maybe something different happens.
her apartment caught on fire, and started burning several other rooms of houses next door.
Yeah.
And so just all these bad. Now she's got insurance claims on her and everything, and it's just bad things happening one after another.
Yeah, and at the middle of the movie, right before all this happened, she like kind of dismissed her sister and little Junior in a really tough scene because like
I forgot.
No, it's just important just because like it's right before her fall, so like she gives up that family. She thinks she has everything she ever wanted: the wealth, the fame, the guy, the Lamborghini, the free Lamborghini, and that she got on her first lucky day, and was the first thing that happened to her. And she was mean, right? And then she loses everything, right? Or everything starts falling apart. And she realizes that she goes to a shaman lady, like out, on the outskirts of town, and is just like trying to look for help. And this woman's like, "What do you have in your life that changed everything?" And she's like, "Well, I have this statue." And she like takes the shaman with the statue. She's like, "This is a legendary, historic statue that's been missing for like thousands of years," and goes into this lore about the woman riding donkey statue. And it's just like it only affects women. That's why it was probably lost, because like a bunch of men had it, just thought it was interesting or weird, or they thought it was perverted, so like they had it. But it doesn't affect men, so it probably was handed down through generation with no effect. But then when she found it in this Goodwill, like it started to give her all the luck. But the problem is that you have to after a certain period of time, the donkey takes what it wants. And so it gives you all these things.
Well, yeah, they have that saying, you got to give the ass what's good for it.
Exactly. You got to give the ass what's good for it. And so she's like, what does that mean? How do I manifest that in my life? The shaman woman's, well, she's, where were you in your life when you first got this statue? You were a good-hearted person, but now I see you on these commercials and flaunting your organic tattoo ink. You're hot shit, is what you think.
She says something different.
You got your tits out and everything, and you think you're better than me.
She says something different.
She says, young child, you're in disarray, and you need to find your way. Where go deep back from where you started, and the ass will know who the true Shelley Jones Jr. is.
So she goes back to the Goodwill and donates it back into the Goodwill, right? And she leaves, and things still keep going south for her. Like, that's the thing. And so she realizes that like the only way to be free is to like get somebody else to buy the ass, to pay big money for that ass. So she takes it to Christie's, not Christie. What is it? Yeah, Christie's. Like I always do this wrong. Christie's, where they do the auction house in New York City.
Oh, I don't know.
Anyway, she goes to the big auction house in New York City, and a character that was a rival of hers in the ink market. Like, we need to develop her a little more, but she like is there, and she like convinces this woman to buy the woman riding ass statue, and this woman's like, haha, all your stuff's going wrong. Like I finally get the last piece of your most prized possession. And Shelley Jones Jr. is just like, oh no, she's like feigning sadness, right? Because like her enemy is like buying it. And so this woman buys Woman Riding Ass and takes it off into where she's doing business and stuff. And Shelley's life kind of normalizes a little bit, but then she got to repair her relationship with Bobby and with Jack and with Junior Jr. and humbly returns to them, it's good.
And her stuff clears up, like all these good things, like not good, but
because that enemy woman is dating Edward
now.
Yeah, so she's kind of also gonna get Edward all fucked up.
Exactly, and it seems like from a distance, all these good things start happening to the enemy lady, named Tommy.
I think it should be something different.
You're right, it should be. Her name is Polenda, and
It should be something different.
what? That was great. Right. That was good. Her name is Bagalina. And, she has her, the rival company. But yeah, all these bad things start happening to Bagalina. Or good things. Good things start happening. And, Shelley, she's okay with it. She's like, I've been there. I know what it was like to taste those things. The free Lamborghini I got on my first day of getting this statue. I know what it takes. And I'm okay with it now because, I'm okay with me. And it's it's a real I don't want to say coming of age, but self actualization kind of movie.
Yeah, and then she ends up getting a job at the salon that she started at, and like just puts in the work and doesn't do the get rich quick stuff. She makes amends with her family and is like the movie kind of ends with her like doing her sister's hair. So there's like a nice sisterly moment, and like they kind of hit it back off, and and so that's it. And so then like the last shot is just like a big pushing on Woman Riding Ass, and just like the apartment of Bagalina like catches on fire and stuff like that. So like you can see that like the curse is now, the flip side of the coin is starting to happen to Bagalina.
Yeah, so you get that justice.
Yeah, you get a little bit of justice at the end. So yeah,
okay.
yeah. That's the movie.
What do we like to call this movie?
Ass.
Yeah,
Should be something different.
On riding ass or pass.
Yeah, I like that. That's a great title.
You do.
It's a great title.
Okay. That's that movie right there.
It's a great title.
What is it? Riding ass or pass?
Yeah.
Okay. See if we get that past the MPAA. Well, thanks for giving us a chance.
Thank you.
Yeah, no,
Second Chance Studios.
Yeah, I think this could really be our second chance. My second chance.
Second chance.
Our second chance.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I think it'll really take us to the top.
Yeah, we had. We lost them.
Better be on top of the S. You don't want the S to be on top of you.
Exactly. We thought this was all metaphorical for second chances.
Don't be a hero, mate. You look after your mates, and your mates will always look after you. Yeah, cheers.
We know this has been a long show, but we appreciate you running with us. We're in our last segment, Australian news. This is where we go and check with our folks, our people down in the land down under. We make sure we get all the updates that we want for Australian news. So I'm going to read you one headline instead of all of those. This is from just last week, it looks like. Philosopher UT Place, that's his name, UT Place, donated brain to University of Adelaide after dedicating his life to studying the mind. And there's just like a big square glass jar with his brain in it, sitting on a pedestal at his university as an alma mater. I think it's interesting. It's a bit cheeky. In his will, he bequeathed his brain to the university so long as it would be displayed. The university thought it would be funny. The only way to see the brain is to make an appointment to see it. So you have to like schedule an appointment to go see it.
Just want those appointments to be 0.
Yeah.
Like, how arrogant do you have to be?
The philosopher, he was a philosopher in the philosophy department and did a lot of work on like the metaphysics of the brain, of consciousness, of how it is a piece of matter, but how does consciousness exist if, from a, material like plane, from like looking at, I'm way out of my depth here. So that was deeper than level 8 for me. Anyway, it was funny too, because they like, as part of the article, I don't know, like, I can't imagine how this worked. Like the journalists like asked the son to go visit the brain so they could take a picture, because they have a picture of this guy standing by his dad's brain.
It's the most awkward picture. He's like, fuck you, really?
I know, like,
Really?
But like, what do you do? Call this guy and be like, hey, Mr. Place, you want to go see your dad today? My dad has passed. Like, no, I know. You want to go see his brain. And why? I want to take a picture of you with it. Anyway.
Is this better than visiting a gravestone?
I don't know, because like my problem with it is like I just keep picturing my dad's skull being cracked open. Like,
I don't know. Australians are a little more hardcore. They're probably like, he's probably scheming. He's like, I'm gonna schedule an appointment. I got a wicked Halloween party coming. Hey, Pops is gonna really make this one a dash up to you.
Yeah, and he said it was weird. The son said that it was a weird experience to go see his dad's brain. But it encouraged his dad's life as a philosopher, encouraged him to go into psychology, which is now his practicing field. So, it is kind of a interesting, I'm not even gonna say bittersweet. It's just an interesting father-son story. So you can go check it out. There's some cool stuff in here about, UT's philosophy on metaphysics and consciousness. Apparently it was a big deal back then.
Yeah, that just really goes to show you that in life, when you got your brain in a jar, it's over for you. So you're all the only possible way you could be existing is on one of the levels of the internet at that point. And if it's not on the internet knows where to find it, because all these Marian places of the internet, they know more than you already think. So you're not special. And it's okay that you're not special, because there are more special people out there than all of us that are controlling everything we do. They already knew I was going to say that. And they already knew I was going to say that, if you don't dip your pen in the company ink, then, how are you going to get a tattoo with all the little needles getting put together? Because the ass ride of a lifetime is really just being a good person when it comes down to it. You gotta put yourself out there, do what you love, and love what you do. Because if you don't have the passion behind what you're doing, no one's gonna buy your bullshit, not even you. So make sure you can withstand what you're doing, and that you convince yourself first is really what you got to get into in life. Woo woo! All right, here we are into the recommendation station, pulling in. This is where we recommend a movie, a book, a lifestyle, a product, anything in between. So this week, what I want to do is, I actually got this for Christmas last year or the year before from my my then girlfriend. Now wife.
Nice. Nailed it.
Gotcha there. Dr. Squatch.
Oh.
Dr.
Really?
Squatch. Yeah, they're good. They are good. Like, they are expensive, but they're very fragrant. I've gotten compliments from like, "Oh, you smell nice."
Oh, so it's real. Like,
It
you
is.
get the chicks with this.
Yes.
That's not just a gimmick.
Well,
Okay.
I don't, but
Well.
I already got the chick.
You get the chick. Yeah.
But I keep the chick with this. So yeah, I recommend Dr. Squatch. They got several flavors of soap smells. more than our scented scent sticks.
Whoa, what?
I'm looking at the thing right now. They got Freedom Fresh right now. You can bask in the scent of summer. But I like the pine. The pine tar is a good one. I got some other like cedar ones. I like the wood smells.
Okay.
Those are my
Nice.
likes. So yeah, that is what I recommend.
That's a good one. Is that the one with the guys who do all those funny YouTube ads?
Yep.
They are very good. Their
Big.
marketing's solid.
Yeah, marketing's great.
These are chemicals that you are rubbing on your body.
I'm gonna have a follow-up recommendation to this one next time I recommend something.
Oh, wow. All right, cool. Double down. Double down.
Perfect.
Oh, well, good recommendation, Station. Thanks again for riding with us. It was a bit of a devil of an episode. We had to really wrangle it in and get through it, but we did, and I think we had a lot of fun doing it. Thank you for riding with us, having a good time. 66 episodes in the can. Happy to be here. Thank you, DJ Runner-Up, for being first place in our hearts.
Thanks, guys. It's always a good time.
Most of the time, it's a good time. But we had a fun time, and it was a good show. You can hit us up on Instagram, Facebook. You can also email us at velocitychaospodcast@gmail.com. On socials, we're Velocity Chaos Pod. We are happy to interact with all who would like to yell at us, compliment us, joke with us, cry with us, whatever you want to do with us. As long as it's not riding too much ass, we'll be good. This is Nick signing off.
And this is Luke signing off. Thank you guys once again, like Nick said, for being here. If you liked it, tell a friend. If you didn't, tell someone else. Tell your dentist about the Velocity Chaos Podcast. Why not? When they got their fingers in your mouth and you're like, and they're like, yeah, sure. Well, and then they're telling you everything about. Sorry, I'm gonna go on a tangent, but thank you guys again. Really appreciate it. Like we always say, you got to give the ass what's good for it. Have a good one. Thank you for tuning in to the Velocity Chaos Podcast. We upload new episodes every Monday and Thursday. Be sure to subscribe and rate us on iTunes, Spotify, or your podcast platform of choice. Interact with us on Instagram at Velocity Chaos Pod or on Facebook and YouTube at Velocity Chaos Podcast. We are grateful for your time and hope you enjoyed it here. Please tell a friend, and thank you once again.